According to Sports Pro, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the world. Yeah, not just female athlete, not just in the United States, but in the entire world.
According to Sports Pro, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the world. Yeah, not just female athlete, not just in the United States, but in the entire world. And while the world is waking up to what many of you have been saying for months, one of the biggest brands in sports is sitting on the sidelines, watching their $28 million investment collect dust. We're talking about Nike. The company that built empires with Michael Jordan and LeBron James just watched a rookie athlete sell out tens of thousands of basketballs in 40 minutes. But here's the twist. Those basketballs didn't have a swoosh on them. Let's filter out the noise and examine what's really happening here. Wilson Sporting Goods just executed the most brilliant marketing strategy in women's sports history, while Nike, the company that supposedly believes in Caitlin Clark enough to pay her $28 million, has yet to release a single commercial, a single shoe, or even a t-shirt with her name on it. And if you've been following this story, you know this isn't just about business decisions. This is about respect. This is about recognizing greatness when you see it. And if you believe the story behind the story matters, smash that like button. It tells us we're on the right track. So what exactly did Wilson do that has the entire sports marketing world talking? They did something they haven't done since they partnered with Michael Jordan in the 1980s. Wilson Sporting Goods signed the WNBA star to a multi-year deal. She's the first female athlete to have her own collection with Wilson, and it will be built similar to Jordan's collection in the 1980s that included those signature basketballs. Think about that for a second. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, the man who turned sneakers into a cultural phenomenon. And now, Caitlin Clark is the only other athlete in Wilson's history to receive this level of commitment. Wilson didn't just sign Clark to slap her name on some gear. They built an entire signature collection around her, similar to what they created for Jordan decades ago. When Wilson dropped Clark's first signature basketball in September, the Dreamer edition, it sold out in under 40 minutes. We're not talking about hundreds of basketballs. We're talking about tens of thousands of units gone in less than an hour. And here's what makes this even more remarkable. Wilson kept dropping more editions. The Tribute Collection, limited runs with Hy-Vee, the massive Midwest grocery chain that brings in over $13 billion annually. Every single release sold out almost instantly. But Wilson didn't stop there. They understood something fundamental about Caitlin Clark that apparently escaped Nike's entire marketing department. They understood that Clark isn't just an athlete. She's a movement. She's connecting with fans in ways we haven't seen in women's sports, possibly ever. So Wilson made sure their marketing reflected that connection. Their Instagram campaigns, their product drops, their strategic partnerships, everything was designed to amplify Clark's story, not overshadow it. And you were onto something when you noticed how different Wilson's approach has been compared to other brands. Wilson treated Clark like the generational talent she is from day one. They didn't wait to see if she'd pan out. They didn't hedge their bets. They went all in. Meanwhile, let's talk about what Nike has been doing with their $28 million investment. The WNBA season has come and gone. Caitlin Clark broke rookie records, led the league in assists, took the Indiana Fever to the playoffs for the first time in years, and became the face of women's basketball. Her jersey sales increased by 500%. 500%. Let that sink in. Fans are desperate to buy Caitlin Clark merchandise. And what has Nike released? Nothing. Zero commercials, zero signature shoes, zero marketing campaigns, zero merchandise specifically branded for Clark. Think about how insane that is. You have the fourth most marketable athlete in the world under contract, not just in women's sports, not just in American sports, in the entire world. She's ranked ahead of established superstars. She's generating more buzz than athletes who've been in the game for a decade. And Nike's response has been radio silence. Here's where it gets even more interesting. According to multiple industry insiders, Nike is reportedly hesitant to give Caitlin Clark a signature shoe because they don't want to create bad optics with Aja Wilson. Wilson, who is absolutely the best player in the WNBA right now, has been waiting for her signature Nike shoe for years, and Nike apparently fears that giving a rookie a shoe before giving one to a three-time MVP would look bad. But let's connect the dots here. This isn't really about protecting Aja Wilson's feelings. This is about Nike fundamentally misunderstanding the market. Many of you have been saying this for weeks. If Nike dropped an Aja Wilson shoe and a Caitlin Clark shoe on the same day, at the same time, Clark's shoe would outsell Wilson's by a massive margin. Not because Aja isn't an incredible player, she absolutely is, but because Caitlin Clark has something that transcends pure basketball skill. She has cultural relevance, she has mainstream appeal, she moves products in ways that even the best players don't always achieve. And here's the thing, Nike should understand better than anyone. They built their empire on Michael Jordan, not because he was the best player in the league at that exact moment, but because he had that it factor, that ability to capture attention, to make people care, to turn casual fans into die-hard supporters. Caitlin Clark has that same quality. Wilson recognized it immediately. Hy-Vee recognized it. Even grocery stores are making strategic partnerships around Clark because they understand her value. But Nike, they're sitting on their hands, worried about optics, while their competitors printing money and revolutionizing how brands approach women's sports. Wilson's isn't just selling basketballs. They're building a legacy. They're positioning themselves as the brand that believed in women's basketball when it mattered most. They're creating a blueprint for how to properly support and market female athletes. And with every product drop that sells out in minutes, they're proving that the audience is there, that the demand is there. The opportunity is massive. So what's Nike's plan? Keep paying Caitlin Clark $28 million to wear generic team gear. Continue letting Wilson dominate the narrative about who really supports her. Watch as other brands line up to partner with the most marketable athlete in women's sports, while Nike's investment generates zero return. Reading between the lines, it seems like Nike might be learning a very expensive lesson. In sports marketing, timing isn't everything, it's the only thing. And here's where I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now. Do you think Nike made the biggest marketing mistake in WNBA history? Or is there something we're missing about their strategy? Because honestly, from where we're standing, this looks like a complete fumble of a generational opportunity. Now, let's talk about what Wilson and their partners are actually building, because this goes way deeper than just selling basketballs. When Wilson partnered with Hy-Vee, that massive Midwest grocery chain pulling in over $13 billion in annual revenue, they weren't just creating another corporate sponsorship. They were building something completely new in women's sports, an ecosystem of support that goes beyond traditional endorsement deals.
Here, they just had this go, and this is the Hy-Vee Instagram account. Again, Wilson, Caitlin Clark, really smart, very cool video, lots of...
They just had this go. And this is the Hy-Vee Instagram account again. Wilson, Caitlin Clark, really smart, very cool video, lots of smart marketing. Hy-Vee is dropping exclusive, limited edition Caitlin Clark basketballs. The Dreamer Edition and the Tribute Edition, both designed to represent different phases of Clark's journey, from her record-breaking college career at Iowa to her transformation into a WNBA sensation. But here's what makes this partnership truly special. Hy-Vee isn't just slapping Clark's name on products and calling it a day. They're making a statement about their values. In honor of Clark's record-breaking college career, where she scored 3,569 points to become the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball history, Hy-Vee is donating $35,690 to the Caitlin Clark Foundation. They're literally turning her achievements into resources that will help the next generation. That's not marketing, that's investment in the future of the sport. And you were onto something when you noticed how Hy-Vee has been supporting Clark since the beginning. This wasn't a bandwagon partnership after she became famous. Hy-Vee was there when she was still at Iowa, making donations to her foundation, showing up at games, building a genuine relationship. They understood that supporting women's sports isn't about waiting until it's profitable. It's about making it profitable by believing in it first. Wilson has executed this same philosophy perfectly. Every basketball they've released tells a story. The Dreamer Edition represents Clark's journey and aspirations. The Tribute Edition honors her accomplishments. These aren't just products, they're pieces of sports history that fans can hold in their hands. And the market has responded exactly as many of you predicted it would. Sold out, every single time. But let's get into rumor territory for a moment, because sources are whispering about something that could explain Nike's paralysis. Multiple industry insiders suggest that Nike is internally divided about how to handle their WNBA portfolio. One faction wants to go all in on Caitlin Clark, recognizing her as the transcendent star who can elevate the entire league. Another faction is concerned about alienating established stars like A'ja Wilson, who have been carrying the WNBA's torch for years and deserve their moment in the spotlight. Here's the problem with that thinking. It's not either or. Nike has the resources to properly support multiple athletes simultaneously. They've done it before in men's sports. They currently do it across multiple leagues and sports. The idea that they can't figure out how to market both A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark without creating conflict is, frankly, ridiculous. And if these reports are accurate, it reveals something more concerning than just a marketing misstep. It reveals a fundamental lack of understanding about how to build women's sports. Because here's what Wilson understands that Nike apparently doesn't. Rising tides lift all boats. When Caitlin Clark succeeds, when her products sell out, when her games draw record audiences, it creates more opportunities for every player in the league. It brings more sponsors to the table. It increases media coverage. It raises salary caps. It builds infrastructure. Wilson isn't competing against other WNBA players. They're competing against decades of underinvestment in women's sports, and they're winning. The contrast couldn't be more stark. Wilson has released multiple product drops, each one selling out within minutes. They've created compelling marketing campaigns that showcase Clark's personality and her connection with fans. They've partnered with businesses like Hy-Vee to expand their reach beyond traditional sports retail. They've made Caitlin Clark's signature basketball a must-have item for basketball fans, regardless of gender or age. Meanwhile, Nike has released exactly nothing, zero. After an entire WNBA season where their investment became the most talked about rookie in league history, and the numbers back up what many of you have been saying. According to Sport Pro's marketability rankings, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the entire world. She's ranked above LeBron James. She's the only WNBA player in the top 50. And she's generating this kind of attention, this kind of demand, this kind of cultural impact while wearing generic Nike team gear instead of her own signature line. Think about what could have been. Imagine if Nike had launched a Caitlin Clark shoe line at the start of the WNBA season. Imagine the buzz, the media coverage, the sales figures. Imagine if they'd created commercials showcasing her journey from college phenom to professional star. Imagine if they'd released limited edition merchandise timed to her biggest moments, the playoff debut, the assist records, the sold-out arenas. Every single one of those moments was an opportunity to capitalize on the investment they'd already made, and every single one was squandered. Now, connecting the dots reveals something fascinating about where women's sports marketing is headed. Wilson's success with Caitlin Clark is creating a blueprint that other brands are already starting to follow. We're seeing more creative partnerships, more signature collections for female athletes, more willingness to take risks on women's sports. The old model of treating female athletes as afterthoughts or diversity checkboxes is dying. And it's dying because companies like Wilson are proving there's massive money to be made by actually investing properly, But Nike's failure is equally instructive. It's showing that simply signing athletes to big contracts isn't enough anymore. Fans can see through empty gestures. They can tell the difference between genuine support and performative partnerships. And they're voting with their wallets. They're buying Wilson basketballs, not because Wilson is a bigger brand than Nike, but because Wilson actually did something with their partnership. So what happens next? If you've been paying attention to the business side of sports, you know that other brands are watching the situation very carefully. They're seeing Wilson's success. They're seeing Nike's inaction, and they're making decisions about where to invest their marketing dollars. Every day that Nike waits is another day that their competitors are building relationships with WNBA fans and athletes. And here's what makes this moment so critical for the future of women's sports. We're at a tipping point. The audience is there. The talent is undeniable. The cultural moment is happening right now. But it requires brands to actually believe in it, to invest in it, to take risks on it. Wilson took that risk, and they're being rewarded for it. Nike played it safe, and they're losing ground every single day. Before we wrap up, if you want to stay ahead of these stories, if you want to understand the business and politics shaping the WNBA, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because next time, we're diving into how Caitlin Clark's success is creating tension inside the league itself, and why some players are speaking out about the attention she's receiving. Trust me, you won't want to miss that conversation. The Wilson-Caitlin Clark partnership isn't just about basketball or business. It's about recognizing greatness, supporting it properly, and reaping the rewards of that belief. Meanwhile, Nike is learning an expensive lesson about what happens when you underestimate the power of women's sports. And honestly, they have nobody to blame but themselves. That's it for today. Keep questioning the narratives, keep supporting the athletes who deserve it, and keep demanding better from the brands that claim to care about women's sports. I'll see you in the next one.